Greetings and welcome back to the channel. This video is the narcissist descent into darkness. I'm going to talk to you today about how the narcissist slips into the darkness, how deep the darkness is, how they became what they have become. So clearly, we live in a world where narcissism is classified as a personality disorder. And yeah, it is a personality disorder in a sense, but that's just a clinical term. That's a way that we, like in many other fields, that's a way for us to scientifically understand things, to put a name on it as a descriptor. It's a personality disorder. But I agree actually with Romney that it's more of a personality style. The way that they are is baked into them. But anyway, the point is, there is way more going on with things than that. So a lot of people will just say that's all that it is. It's a personality disorder. They're messed up. It's beyond their control. They don't want to do this. They don't want to be the way that they are. They just are that way. Guys, that's not accurate. So the narcissist is a dark force. They are a dark being. They are the epitome of evil. If you can look at the things that the narcissist does and not think that it's evil, then evil doesn't exist to you. Because everything they do literally is the opposite of what a good, loving, caring, respectful person would do. They are not only dark beings, but they are people who are controlled by even darker beings than them. See, everything that actually goes on in reality, for those of you who have eyes to see and ears to hear, and you get this, everything that happens is spiritual in nature, really. There's a spiritual realm, there's a heavenly realm. It exists alongside of ours. We don't see it. If we had the ability and the eyes to do it, we were of higher quality, basically, like the angels, like the heavenly beings. They can slip in and out of heaven and earth, the two realms. Heaven's not in the sky. Heaven's a realm that lays over top of our world. It's like a dimension. They can come and go. Um, it's not the point of this video, but that's how it works. The beings that live in that realm and come back and forth, the demonic beings chiefly, have a control over the narcissist. They have given themselves over to these beings. You want to know why they all act the same way? Why they all have the same playbook? People wonder and they ponder over this. How is it that the narcissists always do the same things? Because they have the same characteristics of the same demonic beings that are in charge of them. Which basically, when you get to the top of it, the chief narcissist, of course, is the devil. So they all share the same qualities and do the same things because they're all of the same substance with their father, the devil, and the demonic beings attached to them. Evil is evil. So I have seen now very clearly a person who was the golden child, who was given everything, never held accountable, had their shoes tied for them, who they turned into a narcissist. I've seen the other side of the spectrum. Someone who was undervalidated, bad family life, no father, no bad mother, that sort of thing, and then they became a narcissist. Does it take the two extremes? No, it doesn't take the two extremes. But I've seen both very vividly. And I will say that both of those things do tend to contribute to someone becoming a narcissist. You can't just throw childhood in the way that they were reared out. You can't throw that out entirely. Some people are in that position. But here's really what happens with the narcissist. Because we all grow up, we all have challenges. People born into terrible family situations don't grow up to be narcissists sometimes. People born into great situations can become narcissists. It's not a formula. So here's how this descent into darkness happens. The narcissist grows up and has the challenges like that we all do, to different degrees, varying degrees. It is the way that they chose to handle these situations time and time again throughout the course of their childhood, into adolescence, into teenage years, into early adulthood. That is what determined them becoming the narcissist or not becoming. We all make choices in life depending on what happens. I am of the opinion that God tries to reach out to everyone, and the devil tries to take everyone. And the way we respond determines our salvation, it determines the person we're going to become. And it's not too late for anyone, unless they're a reprobate, a full blown reprobate narcissist. Anyway, the narcissist makes decisions. They grow up and they realize manipulating people works. If I steal things, I get what I want. If I lie, I get what I want. If I triangulate people, I get what I want. If I cause a scene and have a rage fit and a tantrum, I get what I want. They understand that their way of doing things is yielding the results that they want. So as a child, they're going to act that way with their parents or their grandparents or whoever it is that's raising them. They're going to do these things with their siblings. They're going to do these things with their playmates. And they're going to continue to hone those things. And it's largely going to go unchecked by those around them because they're the golden child or they're undervalued. And again, it doesn't have to be because there's shades of gray, but they're basically going to get away with this for the most part or catered to. So if it's not broke, why fix it? That's what they figured, at least subconsciously. They get a little older. They go throughout elementary school. They realize the manipulation works. They realize that lying is still working for them. It's getting them things. They get older. They get into teenage years. These are really the formative years because as they get older, they experience life in a new way. They form relationships in a new way that they've never had before. And they get better chances to manipulate. The stakes become bigger as they get older. And especially what happens in the teenage years is they get to start entering into romantic situations. Not maybe huge at first. You're 13, 14, 15. Although many people are sexually active at that age, sadly, that's the world we live in. But they start small, but as they progress, they learn that they get these people in deeper connections, this romantic connection. And that's where the main abuse really takes place with a narcissist. And that's when they learn and they cultivate gaslighting. If I make this person doubt their reality, they become pliable. They become more malleable. I can do what I want with them if I make them doubt their reality. They learn triangulation in a new way. If I am dating someone or I'm in a relationship with somebody and I invoke another person, I bring another person in to invoke jealousy, ooh, that really worked. Oh, that really worked. My boyfriend and girlfriend, they hated when I did that. I got them to do what I want. They became more obsessed with me. They became frustrated. They became more confused, and it's working to my advantage. They learned that lying works on an all new level. He doesn't need to know I'm texting other men. Oh, that was just a friend. Oh, that was nothing. They learned that. And in this day and age, it's way easier because you can be texting people behind each other's backs so easily. You can be on dating sites, apps so easily. Supply out the yin yang, people to talk to everywhere if you want to do things that way, especially for young women, especially easy for them, which is why I actually think, and sorry, ladies, I'm trying to be very objective. I believe narcissism has now shifted more. There's plenty of male narcissists, don't get me wrong. But I believe the ratio has shifted over to more females because of all the validation and all the attention that women now can get via the age of texting, dating apps, social media. It has shifted more that way, and most women, I'll just say 45 and under, are playing heck of a bunch of games. Heck of a bunch of games with men and many men. It's the way of the world. And it's not all of them. Most of you on this channel, I'm sure you're not doing that. But that is the way of the world mostly. But they grow up and they realize these things are working. They hone their skills, they hone their craft By the time they get to be, in my opinion, late teenage years, somewhere I'm going to ballpark, in my opinion, between about the ages of 15 and 19, 15 and 20, I really think that is when the game is decided. That is when they are of age, they are cognizant, they're making total willful decisions, they know good from evil, they know the difference, and they are outright choosing to do evil things repetitiously on a cycle, on a pattern, as a lifestyle, as a way of getting what they want to get over and over and over. And at some point, what happens is this: the more you pursue evil willingly by choice, every time you do that, you are taking yourself a little bit further away from the right path, a little bit further away from the grace of God. God's patience with us is immense, incredible, but it's not infinite. It's not infinite. You do evil, wicked things enough times, over and over, repeatedly, willingly, intentionally. I'm choosing the path of evil and darkness. I'm choosing to manipulate, to lie, to steal, to triangulate over and over and over. And you harden your heart. You gradually harden your heart, and that takes you away from God. The Spirit of God cannot work in you the same way. You are not pliable for the Lord anymore. That takes a process of years and years, I believe. But also, what happens is this: I believe everyone who became a full-fledged narcissist around that age of 15 to 20-ish, that's the formative years where you're really making those decisions. Because every one of them that I know of, every narcissist that I know of was the narcissist that they are. Even though they get worse, they were a full-fledged narc by the time they were around 20. Every one of them I know. It was like it was sealed. They were doing the same things at 20 that they're now doing at 35. That's my experience. Drop comments below. Tell me what you think. Though, they had situations arise in their teenage years and probably into early 20s where they were major cataclysmic situations, the big decisions. Maybe it was the love, a really good, wonderful, kind person they were in a romantic relationship with that they chose to torture and blow up. Maybe it was a person of God that they did this to. Big no-no. God doesn't take kindly to that. Just understand. So maybe that was it. Maybe they got pregnant, and you know what they decided to do? Not carry that pregnancy out. And they chose to delete a human being. Maybe they did this multiple times. Those are cataclysmic, major, life-altering decisions. They've been choosing this path little by little, the path of darkness, of manipulation, lying, cheating, stealing, triangulation, the whole 9 yards. Bit by bit by bit, they close themselves off to God, and they give themselves over to Satan. But then they're faced with these big situations. What am I going to do? Which path am I going to choose? I've got a very big problem here, or a very big decision, a fork in the road. I get to figure out and decide: am I going to continue this path of darkness and really choose it and really go over? Or am I going to veer off and get back on the right path? Or for the first time, get on the right path? They face these decisions and they choose the path of darkness, and that is what catapults them over even further. And that's really what I think seals the deal for these people. It's all the incremental decisions that they willingly choose to do. They willingly choose the evil. They reject the good. They become Satan's little minions bit by bit by bit. And then they get also these big life-altering decisions, and then they choose the path of darkness, and that catapults them. So like I said, maybe it was they got married late, very late teens, early 20s, and they decided to torture their spouse, go out on them, blow it up. Maybe they, like I said, got rid of unwanted children, and that's a big thing. Who knows exactly what it is, but I think they all have these decisions that they make. and it sends them into a new echelon of evil. So you understand, the narcissist paves their way brick by brick by brick. Along the way, though, something else happens that I want to throw in. All these acts are intentional. That's leading them to this place of their own demise, of the black pit, of estrangement from God, of reprobate land, meaning totally morally depraved to the point where the goodness of God and the grace of God can no longer work on them. To the point where God, yes, I know it's hard for some of us to understand this. It's all throughout Scripture. There are points where God finally says, I'm done. I'm done with y'all. Tower of Babel, big time, right? Period of kings and judges. God says over and over and over, Israel is too corrupt. You're too corrupt. I'm giving you over to destruction. Little mini exiles. Then there's the big exiles that occur. Assyria takes the northern kingdom of Israel. Babylon takes the southern kingdom of Judah. Because God says, enough is enough. I can't work with these people. I'm done. Yes, God, when pushed to his absolute limit, will say, I'm finished. He does this with many of the narcissists because they have closed themselves off to the point where they will not humble themselves. There's no chance of repentance. They're just too far gone. And what also happens during the course of these decisions, as they grow up and become the narcissist, is they slip farther and farther and farther into delusion. That doesn't get the narcissist off the hook. It doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, but their worldview becomes so warped that to them, evil is good, good is evil. Everything becomes inverted in the mind of the narcissist. That's why it's always your fault. That's why they're never to blame and they're always the victim. And they think every relationship, was the other person's fault. And they don't have things to change. That's why they might tell you, I think people need to be knocked down a couple pegs. Not me, though. Not me. They really don't think they have to change. They don't think they do. That's delusion. When you are an evil person doing evil things and you think they're good or the other person is evil and you have nothing to change, that's delusion. So the narcissist, guys, this is the narcissist's descent into darkness. They pave the way brick by their evil actions that they mean to do because it works for them and it gets them what they want. And they know as they get older that it's good to do this for them. But they know that it's wicked to do it. And they choose the path of wickedness willingly, knowing it's evil. That puts them slowly but surely out of the grace of God, hardened. And then they make the big cataclysmic decisions, the life-altering decisions that each one of them face. And they choose then, at the fork in the road, to go the path of evil even further, even still. And in doing all of this, they become delusional too, so their minds are warped. They don't think clearly. They can no longer even choose God because they're so deluded. So guys, don't let anyone tell you the narcissist, oh, it's just a personality disorder. It's totally out of their control. They don't want to be this way. They have to be like this. Just the way they're wired. Well, it is, but they wired themselves. They did this to themselves. They made the bed that they have to lie in. So guys, narcissism is a spiritual disorder at its core. They're corrupt. They're broken. They're busted. They're evil. They do evil. They know it's evil. Until they get to a place where they're so delusional and they start to mistake good for evil and evil for good. But they're still choosing wickedness. That's the warped, twisted, weird descent into darkness of the narcissist. It's the depths of evil. So guys, drop comments below. I hope you find this interesting. How the narcissist became that. This is the path they chose. This is how it got to the point that it got. So anyway, thanks so much for all the great comments. New subscribers, old subscribers. Stay tuned for more content to come. I always come at you with some new ones. Until then, God bless.